I'm going to start my webcam here. And we see here that I have a Prodigy Connect all connected. And the first item on the agenda is how to use the distance camera. So here I have a distance camera. It's the SL25 Kodak SL25 Pix Pro that I have right here. There's another model called the SL10. So you can place it on either side of the Prodigy, on the right or the left-hand side. And usually in production, these cameras are paired with the Prodigy Connect, meaning that every camera that comes with the Connect is only going to be paired with one camera, so you can't have two. So when a camera is paired, you have an icon on the Prodigy Connect, which is called distance. So if I click on distance, it's going to search for my camera. The camera is connected Wi-Fi. So if you're connected and doing some internet, it's going to get you off that Wi-Fi and connect directly to the camera. And as you can see, I see the image and with a little battery level on the right-hand side. So right now my battery level is at full. You can zoom in, zoom out from what I see with the buttons on the screen. So I can press and hold on them, and they're going to zoom in or zoom out, whatever I'd like to do. You can also use the pinch and zoom gesture, just like from any other application. You can also capture any distance objects with the capture button. So if I do that, it's going to store it. It's going to capture the image, and it's going to transfer it to the tablet. We have a little arrow that just popped up on the right-hand side, meaning that it's downloading it to the tablet and storing it into the gallery of Prodigy, which we'll see in a bit. You also have settings available in this application. You can adjust the brightness, the colors, the contrast, and even if your Wi-Fi is not set up or your camera is not set up for the tablet, you can also do that from Prodigy Connect. So let's do that. What I'll do, I'll go in my Wi-Fi setup, and I'll go in my Save Networks, and I'll do a forget on my camera, meaning that it could happen that you lose the network or the pairing of the camera doesn't work anymore and you need to reconfigure everything. So what happens is that when you launch the application, the distance application, it's going to be stuck in this turning circle here. And then after a while, it's going to say, well, please turn on your distance camera, but it's not detected. So what can I do instead of calling in customer support? What you can do is hit the settings button, go to Wi-Fi setup, and with your camera on, go Wi-Fi networks, and you should see it. And we see that the second Wi-Fi that the Prodigy detected is a Pix Pro SL25 and a number at the end. So if you had a distance camera, which is the SL10, you would have Pix Pro SL10 with a number. That number is unique to each camera. So what you do is that you select that Wi-Fi network, you connect to it, and it's going to ask you a password. So the password is the same for an SL25 or an SL10. It's the same. It's going to be 12345 678. So we'll do it. I'm just going to unhide my password field by clicking the little eye icon that I have right beside the text field. And I'm going to go into numbers, and I'm going to write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and check mark on the side there. And I'm connected. Woohoo! So if I do OK, I go back to my distance application. The application should find my camera, which it did, and it's paired. So you don't have to do that again unless you lose it again. You lose that pairing again. Good. So that's for the distance. I hope that answered a couple of questions that you guys had about the distance camera, which is a very nice tool to have, very nice accessory to have when you're in school and looking at the whiteboard or the smart board. So what we'll do is that we'll be switching from my webcam. I'm going to turn it off here, and I'm going to be switching to my other Prodigy Connect that I have set up, and I'll be sharing with you the Prodigy application. So I think you guys can see the Prodigy application that's on the screen, and right now I'm in a magnifier, and that's why I want to go for the next topic. I want to capture a document and have Prodigy read it out loud to me. So what I'll do, I have a document here. I'm going to place it horizontally for you. I'm just going to turn on my webcam so you guys can see how I place my no, it won't show. Okay, well, I'll show it in another later on in the tutorial. How to place a document. You're going to place it horizontally. I'm going to start my magnifier application by clicking on the icon that's there. And there I see my document. What you want is that you want to lift the tablet 90 degrees as possible. There's a little vibration once you get to that 90 degrees, so you'll feel it. You can zoom out by pressing the zoom out button or the pinch and zoom. What's going to happen is that you're going to go full page and you'll see the whole page of the document. And what you want to do is to capture that document. So the button banner at the bottom, there's several icons. There's the back button, there's the settings buttons. You can turn on or off the lights of the stand. You can capture the document, or you can zoom out or zoom in. So in my case, I want to capture the document. So you press the capture button, the camera, and then the OCR, the character recognition software will detect all the characters in the document. I just had a little question here in the Q&A. So when the camera is being used, there is no Wi-Fi internet access. Correct. Since the distance camera works Wi-Fi with the Wi-Fi, it disconnects your internet connection and connects it and uses the Wi-Fi for the camera. Okay, so let's go back to our little session here. So we did get the capture, the OCR was done on it, and I have a new icon, which is a little diskette with a pencil on it. So if I click on that, it's going to save the document, and it's going to save it in the gallery, which we'll go and look very soon at. And there's a play button also. So you can press the play button, and what that's going to do, it's going to start reading it to you. Now, since I don't have the, I'm going to pause it here because it's reading at the same time. I don't have the diamond edge activated by default. That was my choice. I wanted it that way. But you can have it as default, and you would have the diamond edge. But if you don't, you can just do on the right-hand side of the screen, you do a swipe down. By doing that, ta-da, we got the diamond edge. What is a diamond edge? It detected all the characters on my picture, and it replaced all the characters by, I use the word vectorial writing. It's really the font that changes and uses the right font. So what that does is that if I hold my button to zoom, I can zoom up to 80x without losing any image quality. So that's really nice. And I can pan through the document. It's pretty big, but I can pan in the document and read with ease. So I'm going to zoom out here. But then again, I can press a play button and make it read out for me. You can also go in the settings. If you don't like the page mode, you can change the way that it reads. You have reading mode, so a page. If I select that, you have different reading modes. You got column, line, so let's choose column as an example. And then you can come back to my magnifier, to my text, press play, and I'm going to switch automatically to column mode. The same goes for line mode. I can also change the colors if I'd like, also in the settings. So all the customization I was talking about earlier is all done in these settings menu, and they're all per application in Prodigy. Because Prodigy is like, I called it an application suite, kind of like Office, Microsoft Office has Word, Access, PowerPoint. Well, Prodigy has the same thing. We have distance, books, calculator, the magnifier, and all these applications. So every application has its own settings that you can change and customize as you wish. Now, let's take an example. I want to do a homework for my class, an exercise that I'd like to do. I'll place another document under my Prodigy, which is just a simple math exercise. I'll do the same thing. I'll put it on the horizontally like this, and I'm going to press the capture button, which is the fourth button from the left. And again, it's going to go through the OCR, getting all the characters and all that. It's going to turn my document because it's on landscape instead of portrait. And if I want to edit, I click again on the diskette, the third icon from the left. If I do that, as you can see, the icon changed to a pencil. That means that if I hit that pencil icon, I go into a tool to write on my documents. So you don't need paper anymore. So you can write directly on my document. So what I can do, if I just clicked on the pen icon, I can zoom in the document. And then to pan in the document, I have to use two fingers. So you put two fingers on the screen and you just drag, and you can pan in that way in the document. So we'll pan here to my name, and I'll zoom in, and I'll start writing my name. And as a default, you start writing with the pencil tool. So I'll be writing on the screen. Now, for the first version of this tool, the preferred way to write on the screen would be with your finger. For a second version coming out later on this year, next year, I'll try to get that the screen sensitivity there for you guys to use a stylus. But for now, for the first version, it works better with the finger. Certain stylus will work, but they're hard to find. So if you find one, very nice, good job, and you can use it. But I prefer my finger to write on the documents. Now, if I go back to my button banner, I have a couple of icons there. And the first one is the back button. The second one is the button to edit or to write. The third button is to erase what I've written. The fourth button is to change colors. So if I click on that, you have all kinds of colors that I can change for the writing, for the highlighter, and things like that. And then the last button is for the thickness of the trait that the pencil does, or the font size if we use a keyboard to enter some text. But we'll see all three. So now, if I click on the second button from the left, which is my pencil, it just changed. It put a pencil, but with a bar underneath, and that means that it's the highlighter. So what I'll do, I'll pan to my title, and I want to highlight my title. And as a default, it's in yellow, so I can highlight on my document. And if I click again, or I tap on the second icon, which I just did before, it will change again to a T, a big T, meaning that you can write text on it. And to do that, we're going to write my last name here. So I'm going to pan back here to my name, and I'll press and hold on the screen where I want my text. And as you can see, there's another form that popped up, and with the virtual keyboard. But we'll see with the Bluetooth keyboard as an accessory, it's very nice. You won't have to use the virtual keyboard, and you can use the Bluetooth keyboard, which is pretty nice. So I'll write my family name here, Beau. There we go. I have a autocomplete. And once you're done writing, this is multi-line. You can write as many texts as you want. Once you're done, you click on the button on the top right of the screen, which is a paper airplane, and it's going to send it to the document. Now, if I don't like where it's placed, I can click on it, and it's going to be highlighted in red, or in whatever color that you choose in the settings. It can be orange, it can be blue if you'd like. And once it's clicked, once it's highlighted like this, you can pan with it. Whoops, sorry. If you click and hold, you come back to the edition mode, but I don't want to do that. You can just click on it and start moving around in the document with it. And then you're okay with where it is, you let go. The same thing goes for the zoom. You can zoom it. If if the characters are not big enough, I can pinch and zoom, and it makes it bigger. So I'm just going to place it here, or it makes it smaller also. So you can pinch and zoom anywhere in the document while the text is selected, and it's going to zoom in or zoom out the text. Once you're done, you tap anywhere in the document and the highlight disappears. Now the eraser, how does it work? The eraser will erase only what the second icon is displaying. So right now we're displaying the big T, which is the text that we just entered. So if I press on the eraser, I can only erase my last name that I just entered, because it was entered as a text with the keyboard. So if I go over it, I just erased it. Let's zoom out a bit so I can see more. So we erased it. Once I'm done, you click the eraser button again, and you're back into the edition mode to edit some more of your document. Same goes if I want to erase the highlight of my title. I'm going to go and select the highlight action in my button banner, and then my eraser. And I'm just going to go over the highlight, and it's only going to erase that. It's not going to erase my name because it's not a highlight, it's a pencil. But if I would go and select the pen, it would erase that. So that's for the writing tool. That's pretty cool. Now, if I go back, by doing the back action, it saved it automatically. And I like using the two-finger double tap. So you use your two fingers and you double tap on the screen, and you come back automatically to the main homepage of Prodigy. And you swipe from right to left, and you go to the gallery. We see the image that I just wrote my name on it. That's the first one. That's the last thing we did. And if I want to share my homework, I press and hold on that image, and there's an action menu that pops up. In that action menu, the first entry is share. So if I click on share, what's going to show up is a list of applications that I can use to share my image. Now, this is going to be shared as a JPEG from the first version of this writing tool. But for the next generation of the writing tool, we'll be supporting more formats. So for this example, I'll try the Gmail. So if I click on the Gmail and I have a Gmail account configured on this tablet, I can send it to somebody. So I'll be sending it to my work email. I'll put a subject. And then on the top right corner of the screen, there's again that little paper airplane, that little triangle, which is the second icon starting from the right. You just click on that. Actually, this is the Gmail application that just launched, and we used to send the image. Now I can also, if I want, click the share button again, and share it through Google Drive or a Dropbox. Right now I have a Google Drive configured on this tablet, on this Connect 12, and I'll show you how this works. I'll click on Google Drive, and then Google Drive will pop up asking me if the document title is okay, and which account I want to use, and in which folder I want to save it. And then once you're done, you can hit the save button at the bottom right of the pop-up window. So we just did our homework, submitted it to the teacher, and now I'd like to go and read a book. What you can do, if I have a Bookshare account, I can use the Books application. And once I'm logged in, I can search for books in different ways. There's also my library, so all the books that I have downloaded are going to be in my library. I have a couple. I have a magazine that I have downloaded. When you subscribe to magazines, well, you're going to see that we can download different issues of that magazine. So we don't have any of that Time magazine. So, and also I have a book. So if I click on the book, I can start reading the book. Now in the Books application, we have the same button banner as we did in the magnifier. If I click on the play button, it's going to start reading the book. The plus and the minus are to zoom in, zoom out. And the last button is the tables of contents. And I can go through my tables of contents and start anywhere in the book that I'd like to start reading. So I just chose a chapter here. I can start reading from that place in the book. There's also settings in order to change the colors, change the speed, change the voice that I'm using to read, change the reading speed, the font size, and things like that. We're going to go back to my books application, my main menu. If I search for books, I can search by different ways. There's different ways I can use to search a book: by title, by author, by category, by content, and the last one by ISBN. So you can have an ISBN number, and you can just use that to search your book, and it's just going to pop up with the numbers keypad to enter your ISBN. The category, it will show up with categories that you can find books. So if I go, I don't know, I just chose one just like that, but you have all the books for business and finances in this category. If I go back to my books main menu, you can also browse through popular books. Popular books is the most downloaded books at this time today for Bookshare. So if I click on that, you're only going to have a list of the books that are mostly downloaded today or during the last few days. So as you can see, the most popular book is The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes. So if I go back, I can also browse by periodical. What's a periodical? It's a magazine. So you can subscribe to any magazine that is available in Bookshare. And accessible through your account, and they're all categorized by alphabetical order. So let's I don't know, let's see if I have something in time. Okay, so as you can see, I had Times Magazine already checked, so I subscribed to Time Magazine. So each time there's going to be a new issue, I can go in my library and download that issue, but I can subscribe to any other magazine. So let's select one. If I select one, you see the check mark and it says added to library. So that means if I go back to my library, I should have that magazine in my library, which it is, which is the first one on top. Let's see if I have issues. There we go. We got different issues that I can download. The issue of the 16th, the 15th, and the 12th of November. So if you want one, you just click on it, and it's going to download it automatically. But you get the principle. You download the periodical, and then you can start reading your magazine. So that's for the books application. You have all kinds of educational books also available through Bookshare. Another thing that I'd like to show you is the keyboard, the new Bluetooth keyboard. I'm just going to stop sharing here my Prodigy Connect. I just want to find my Zoom here. I'm going to stop sharing this, and I am going to share my webcam. Okay, so I'm just going to move this here. And by the way, I wanted to show you how to place a document. I'm just going to move this here a bit. Sorry for moving the camera, but here we go. This is the way that we place a document underneath the Prodigy. Okay, so what did I want to show? Yes, the keyboard. I'm going to come back to Prodigy. This is a new keyboard, the Bluetooth keyboard that is available on the website. Now, this is a Bluetooth keyboard. Underneath the Bluetooth keyboard, you have two buttons. You have one switch to turn it on or off, and there is a connect button. So what we'll do, we'll configure it together. So I'm going to turn on the keyboard, and I'll go into my settings, into Prodigy Connect. I'm just going to do this here, less reflection. I'm going to go into System, Bluetooth Setup. I'm going to turn on my Bluetooth, and then it's going to scan. Oh, sorry, one step further. You're going to click on Devices, and it's scanning for devices. Now, as you notice, it's a bunch of numbers. Now, which one is my keyboard? You won't really know unless you click on the little button Connect. Once it's done searching here, you click the button Connect, and you click on Scan for devices again. And here we go. We got Bluetooth Logic keyboard, which you can select and connect to it. Now it's going to ask you to enter a pin from the keyboard. So we'll enter 480-523 and enter. And we're connected. So I can use the keyboard. So there's a couple of shortcuts that have been made in this keyboard. You have the back button, which is going to navigate back into where we were. You have the Prodigy Home button. If you click on that, you'll be brought to the main carousel of Prodigy. So let's try it. I'm going to hit the home button, and we're back to the main carousel in Prodigy. Now, the main shortcuts are going to be the ones on top here, the F1 to F12. F1 and F2 are going to be decrease or increase the brightness. F3 will be your history of applications. F4 will be, this is a very interesting feature, will be a list of all the applications that are installed on your Prodigy Connect. So everything from Google, Google Chrome to Microsoft Word, and they're all categorized alphabetically. So if there is more than one application that starts with the letter G, let's say, if I go in there, it'll be grouped up. So in this one, I'll have Gmail, GoRead, Google, Google Plus, whatever. And I can click on them, and it's going to start my application. So if I press Enter here, it's going to start my Gmail. I can go back, and I can choose any other that is installed. So these are all the applications that have been installed on your on the tablet. So you can download anything from the Google Store, and you can have it there. You can see it there. Okay, so I'm going to go back. There we go. F6 is for to start the magnifier. If I click that, the magnifier is going to start. F5 is to start the settings. So like I was talking before, each application has its own settings. It will pop up that settings menu. And then let's go back and take a document in my gallery. And as you can see, I can use the keyboard to navigate around. So let's take the one with text in it. And we had OCR. We can start reading it by clicking on, I'm just going to put my diamond edge so it would do better. No, I have to zoom in. There we go. So you can press the F8 button, and it's going to start reading. And then you have F10 and F11, which is the volume plus or the volume minus. And also a nice feature to get out of Prodigy and to go into Android, you can do the Control Q, and you're out to Android. Alternatively, you can use a, I'm going to set it as always, you can use a 5-finger press and hold. So if I put my 5 fingers on the Prodigy, when I'm in Prodigy, I'll go out into Android. And if I have Prodigy as my default home application, I can use the escape button on the far left of the keyboard to come back to Prodigy. So everything can be controlled on the keyboard, from the keyboard. I have a couple of questions here in the Q&A, so I'm just going to pause here to answer a couple of questions. Can I use Bookshare with the camera on? And no, you cannot. Bookshare needs an internet connection. So if you have your distance camera on and using it, you will not have access to Bookshare. Will any wireless keyboard work? Yes, it will, but you will not have the shortcuts and especially the F1 to F12, they won't work appropriately, and the home and the back button. So yes, you can rate with any wireless keyboard, a Bluetooth keyboard, but I won't guarantee all the functions that are there are going to work. Can this webinar be downloaded? Yes, it will be available. I have started the recording. Can you use a screen sharing program like Join Me? Yes, you can use a screen sharing like Join Me, which brings me to my next topic, connecting the Prodigy Connect to a smart board. There are several ways to do this. The smart boards usually are connected to a computer, and that computer is going to control your smart board. Now, the way to do this, you have to connect, like the person here asking, you have to share the screen of that computer in order to have access to the smart board. So there's a couple of applications you can use for this. The ones off my head are TeamViewer, VNC. You can use Join Me also. There's also others that you can use, but they all work approximately the same, which means that you log on or you see what's on the screen of that computer. So let's do a test. On my tablet right now, I have downloaded TeamViewer. So I'm going to go and start TeamViewer. Oops, not Zoom, sorry. Go back. Where's my TeamViewer? TeamViewer. And then I'll start my TeamViewer on my laptop that I have right beside me. Now, since I have connected the keyboard, I'm going to use the keyboard to enter my ID from the computer. I have to select the. I already have it in history. Good. Click remote control. And then my identification. And we see that I'm connected to my laptop. So this is a way that you can see the smart board. So I can control anything on my laptop, and you'll see it on the Prodigy Connect. You can do that with Join Me also. It's the same way. And also, what's interesting, if you have an account with TeamViewer or VNC, in that matter, you can store what laptops or what computers that you've connected to. So you can have a computer, let's say in your math class, in your English class, and you can store them onto your account. And then the next time you're in that class, you can just go and select, as you can see on my TeamViewer here. I don't know if it's very visual, but there's selections. You can connect computers, chat, or files. So if I go into computers, it asks you to sign in to your TeamViewer account. And if I do, well, you'll see the computer that you've saved on that account. Same goes for VNC. And to finish this webinar, I'd like to show you, I have other questions here. Yes, does the Android have magnification? Yes, in Android, you can, if you'd like, you can activate TalkBack. For now, in this version, we just started supporting TalkBack. There's a couple of bugs still, but in the next version coming out at the end of February, beginning of March, we'll have TalkBack with less bugs. The only drawback with that, with using TalkBack, the application for writing, the writing tool in Prodigy, you will not be able to use with TalkBack because of all the gestures that we have added and customized for that part. But everything else should be working with the next version without any bugs. And for magnification, you can, in Android, there is a possibility to activate magnification in the accessibility. I don't know if I have it activated on this tablet, but I don't. So let's go back. If you go into settings, into Android again, and you go and get, where's my accessibility? And there we go, accessibility menu. And you can activate talkback, select to speak, switch, all these can work. And there's magnification gestures that you can turn on. And what that does is that every time you triple tap, it will zoom in. So you'll see a bigger font. And yes, there is in Android. That answers that question. My last topic I'd like to talk about is the differentiation between a Prodigy Connect 12 compared to a Matte Connect from APH. They're the same hardware. The only difference is going to be you're going to have, instead of having HumanWare at the bottom here, you'll have APH, things like that. And in the software, there's an application that was added for APH with the APH logo. So if you bought the Matte Connect, you'll have this application which is installed in production, and it's only made for those tablets. You cannot, for example, install this application on the Prodigy Connect 12. This was done just for APH. So what you have here is that APH gave us a list of a dozen applications that they'd like to include, that they wanted to include into the onto the tablet in production. So these are all installed. They're all pre-installed for the user on the tablet. And there's also a nice navigation that you can modify. So if you press and hold the back button, you'll have two options in the settings menu here, which is choose an application. So you choose an application here. It will give you a list of all the applications that are installed on your tablet, and you can select which one you want in the list. So the ones with the checkbox are the ones that are already in the list that I just showed you. But let's say I want to add Chrome to it, I would just click on it and the checkbox just appeared. And if I go back to my list, refresh my list, Chrome is in that list now. Now, if I don't want Chrome as the first item in my list, what I can do is press and hold the back button. And the second option is Organize Application. So I click on that, click on my Chrome, and then press the minus button here, and it's going to go down in priority in the list. And if I go back to my list, refresh my list, now Chrome is the third application in my list. So that's really the only difference between the Matte Connect and the Prodigy Connect. That covers it all. I have a couple questions here again. Can we add Microsoft 360 to Connect 12? Yes, you can. You can also download all the Microsoft Office applications from the Google Store. And how to go in the Google Store, you get out of Prodigy and you go, whoops, sorry. You go and select my, where is my store here? My Play Store. And you can download any application that you'd like. So this is the Google Store, the Play Store. So you can download anything. All the applications that you saw for the APH that were pre-installed for them, you can download from the Play Store and install them by yourself. And for Microsoft 365, what's interesting is that you can add Outlook and have all your contacts synced up with the Microsoft 360. Right now, there's a little bug that was just discovered with Outlook. We cannot share the document with Outlook for now, so we're looking into that bug and trying to fix it for the next version. Next question. How do you get the APH icon on the Prodigy? You cannot. The APH icon can only be on the Matte Connect. It can only be installed on the Matte Connect. The way that it works, if you want to be a bit more technical, it looks for the serial number, and by the serial number, it knows that that was a Matte Connect. Okay, so I'm done. I don't know if you guys have any other questions. I recorded this webinar, so I'll be making it available for you guys. I have all your emails when you registered to the webinar, so I'll be sending out the video, a link to the video, and also I'll be editing it and uploading it to the YouTube, HumanWare's YouTube channel. So thank you very much for your precious time, and it's been a pleasure. If ever you have any other questions, please contact your rep, your dealer, or even me if you'd like. Send me an email, call me. I like to have your feedback. I'd like to have all your suggestions. Everything's good. So please do not be shy and contact me or your rep or your dealer. Thank you. Have a nice rest of afternoon.